Big Irv Schwartz is with us. He's got a fan that's watching. Kevin Dutois, the legends are live. I now. I don't know, Kevin. Legends from my day and age. That was a sports bar over by the stadium. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the Legends he's talking about. I don't think so. Okay, so let's chat real estate. Big Irv is out there in the trenches. And I don't know about you, Big Irv, but the question I get all the time is where are prices going? And where's interest rates going? And my comment is, well, if I knew where interest rates were going, I'd probably be trading the markets and not doing a radio show and leading a lending team. Right? Because if I knew what the bonds were going to do ahead of time, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good area. Yeah. I don't know that. Maybe you do.
Well, the idea of what the market is like, all we have is what we're seeing at the moment. I mean, everything else is being forecast, is, what signs people see and such. The market is such where, now we're in September. So people are, kids are going back to school. There's still activity going on, and people are still pushing the price as long as they can.
So you're still seeing a lot of activity out there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good news for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it? Can I point Irv's mic up?
Sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so activity. So are you seeing multiple offers across same properties?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
they're still out there. In some areas.
Is that pent up
more
demand still there? I mean, that's the big question. Do we have pent up demand?
People that can afford it, where you're starting looking at prices, that when interest rates are, in the sevens, people that are buying homes, they have jobs, they can make payments. Their credit is a lot better than most.
Okay, so you kind of look at some of these things, and you're always wondering, at what point is the interest rates going to slow people down? Do you get a lot of pushback? Are people concerned about that? Are you having that discussion out there at all?
Yes, and oftentimes it's from people that are, would like to sell their home. However, their interest rate is probably close to half of what it is now. So what's the benefit for them?
Do you have to look toward where they're heading? Do you have to look at the underlying motivations?
Yes. Yeah, there's more people that are, looking to retire and possibly move out of state.
Okay. So because my feeling has always been is if they're looking to retire or to move out of state, how many people really know what it's like to live out in a different state? I mean, have you ever lived in a different state?
No,
me neither.
No, I'm from California. The thing what I do is I advise my clients in the event that's something they're interested in. I said, then go take a trip out there, stay out there for a little while. Maybe go out there at different times of the year to see what the weather is like. I mean, I do that when people are looking to buy a home, Corona, Riverside, Fontana, Temecula. I tell them up front, I said, if you're really serious about doing that, go out there and spend the night and drive in at the time you're going to go to work. Then at least you'll know what the commute is like.
So that's kind of an easy one, I think.
Thank you.
Right. I mean, because you can make those drives relatively simple. And, if you find you don't like it, you haven't. One of the things that concerns me, I always worry about when we're talking to folks is if you decide to sell your house in Orange County or Riverside County in Los Angeles, San Diego, our pricing is so vastly different than the person that's in Idaho or in Tucson or in Tennessee.
Yes.
It's almost impossible to come back. Right? I mean, because when you go out there and you buy a 6 acres and it's $300,000 in Tennessee, you come back to Orange County and it's $1.1 million to get a condo in Orange County.
Correct.
So it's hard to come back. what are your thoughts about the idea of renting the departing property for a while?
That's an option that I think some people are doing before they make that decision to stay where they're at. And we just had that client friend of mine recently. That's what they did. They moved out, I think, to Idaho and rented their property for a while. And then when they decided that that was the right move, I have a friend of mine that moved to South Carolina, Florida, Texas, Arizona.
Their California property could almost be a retirement vehicle, right?
Yeah,
Collect that rent on the California
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
And if you didn't pay cash for your new state, you can almost use that income to make your mortgage payment there.
Correct.
So because it's hard to fathom why somebody. I have a veteran that I've worked with quite a while, and we ended up getting him into a VA loan at 2.25%, and he says he's going to sell the property. I'm like, why in the world would you ever sell something with a 2.25% interest rate? Yeah, you just
well, and that has to be part of the discussion when you're so-called, having that consultation with them to see, okay, what is your plan? Why are you moving? Where do you plan on going to? How soon do you want to be there? And what's the reason that you're moving there? Do you have family, or you just want to, buy something and not have any payments?
Yeah, a lot of people get caught up in this
Be able to travel.
this cash world. And I just look at it and say, something? There's a great time for cash. But there might be some other times that benefit you as well. Continue our conversation. Big Irv Schwartz, Realty Pro 100, is with us today. So, Irv, how do you as a boots on the street real estate consultant? I hate saying salesperson because I don't believe the good ones aren't salespeople.
That's right.
They're educators, consulting. They're looking for what's in the best interest of the consumers.
That's why I consider myself professional matchmaker.
Professional matchmaker. Tinder, Big Irv's Tinder account. We're not going to go there. Okay, so how do you combat some of these headlines? Chapman came out within their economic forecast update late June, I think it was, and said they forecast real estate prices dropping 11%. Orange County Register the next day picks up on that, says Chapman forecast real estate values to drop 11%. How do you educate your sphere to what's really happening on the street as opposed to what these guys are saying?
Well, you show them what's going on in the market currently, home prices, properties that are in escrow, and also just find out what their needs are. Just because we hear things doesn't mean that it's true. Just because it's in writing or it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's true.
Well, wait, or if I thought if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Nope.
No, not true.
No,
okay,
not necessarily. And the other thing is just your attitude. If you're walking around, I was knocking on doors with my partner Kevin on Friday, and everybody was very receptive. We had an open house over the weekend, and had approximately 82 groups of people come through.
What city was that?
Anaheim.
Anaheim. Okay. So
it was a premiere showing. It was Friday from 3 to 6, and Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2 and 2 to 6 on both days. With
you had how many people come through there?
82.
82
and groups of people.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it Saturday that it rained?
And
nobody goes out in the rain in California.
Well,
but they did there.
The one thing about the rain, and this is like I said, it's all about your attitude, is that people that go on the rain, they're not just driving around just for the fun of it. So
they were serious. They were serious.
So even if you have one person come through, that one person is serious.
Okay, so was that in 07, 08, 92807, 92808?
06.
06. Figures, that's the one I don't have the numbers on. So what I was really looking at, I'm just looking at 92807 when you think about it, that right now in that entire zip code, there's 22 properties for sale. Then you had 80 people come through. So when you look at some of those, that's why I was throwing that out there, is just to get an idea of how many people are out. There's not enough properties for all the people that are out there looking.
Well, the other thing was that
92806. This is tough. In In 92806, as of yesterday,
Mhm.
there was 4 single-family
Uh-huh.
homes available
That's
for sale.
right.
4.
Exactly.
And you had 80 people wanting those
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, but also, you know, agents from our office, Realty Pro 100, we were out passing out flyers. You know, so we probably passed out 500, maybe 600 more flyers throughout the area. So we create our own opportunities instead of just waiting for it to happen.
So that's a big issue right there. So
Yes.
whoever this homeowner is, they actually decided they're going to go and get professional guidance
Mhm.
and work with a professional marketing organization.
Sure.
And you go and talk to 500 or 600, 700 flyers laying out.
Mhm.
That's going to create, that helps, because some of them are going to be the nosy neighbors, which
That's
is
fine.
great. I always say that, nosy neighbors are great because then they can pick who they want their neighbor to be, or they can't complain.
The other thing about nosy neighbors is they know about the neighborhood, and sitting there and listening to them and hearing their stories, sometimes they're ready to make a move without really thinking about it before.
And as the agent there, they're actually educating you on the good, bad, and ugly of that neighborhood.
Correct.
So you can actually be even more consultative,
Mhm.
a more professional matchmaker.
Exactly. There you go.
Right? But you look at it and you say, okay, is there anything that's going to make more people in 92806 want to move from those 4 people that are the only ones out there looking to sell?
It's just talking to people,
Talking and finding out
it's finding them. There was, like I said, I on Friday we had at least 3 people that are talking about doing something, possibly buying.
and you only need one.
That's right.
There's only one property available.
One at a time, but I'm good with that.
Yeah. So my
Yeah.
point is
So
that
we
you've got
create our own opportunities as us professional agents.
so if you're looking for a property, and what I'm getting to
Mhm.
is you really need to be calling to somebody like yourself
Absolutely.
and
I'm
saying,
ready.
Yeah, there you go. Right? Because you're when you're talking to those 5 or 6 or 700 people,
Mhm.
you might find another 1 or 2 that or at least they're in your database now, and you can put a message out saying, "Hey, if you're thinking about it, we've got somebody already
Mhm.
looking."
Correct.
And that way I don't have to have my house as a museum.
Well, and also typically once a house goes on the market, 2 to 3 follow in the next, 60 to 90 days.
It's contagious.
Exactly. And they see, Joe, hey, Joe, wow, I didn't think he was selling, but maybe we should consider it. Wow, the price? Really? You can get that? So, yeah.
Might wake them up a little bit.
Mhm.
Is that neighborhood, is that an older neighborhood or is it a young
The
neighborhood?
homes were built in 1959.
I mean, the people.
I think it's a mix.
Mix? Okay.
Yeah. And
Re-
the homes are all well maintained.
The reason I asked that question is in a lot of neighborhoods where you've got a lot of people that have been there for many, many
Mhm.
years.
Yeah.
They've got lots of equity. So
Sure.
they can take that equity, pay off debt, buy a new house with a reverse mortgage, buy a new house with a low payment, or use some of that money to buy down their interest rates. There's a lot of different opportunity and most people don't know all these opportunities.
There it is. Most people don't know the true value of their home, even if they look on different sites. That's not accurate enough. That's where you need a professional like us.
Well, we share this site, rsrmoney.com, and on there, RSR Home Scout, we've actually show 4 different corporations where their values, but they're using algorithms that are dealing with historical numbers.
Mhm.
They're not talking about what you just saw this weekend.
Correct.
Looking forward.
Yes.
Right? They can't do that. So great information that you need to talk to a professional real estate agent. So this week on Thursday, Big Irv Schwartz has put together an event in conjunction with his colleagues at Realty Pro 100. And I probably couldn't do it justice. So Big Irv, take it away.
Well, this coming Thursday, September 7th, from 9 to 10:30 in the morning, we're going to have a unique opportunity to have Joseph Alexander, a 100-year-old Holocaust survivor, speak at our office here at Realty Pro 100.
That's a pretty amazing. Because obviously there's not a whole lot of 100-year-old people.
No.
And, the overwhelming majority of the people never survived the Holocaust. So there's only a handful. I don't know how big a handful, but a handful left.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because, goes back into the early 40s, there's not a whole lot of people that were around then.
Correct.
So having an opportunity, this is like history. Well, it's not like history. It is history.
It is history because he survived not 1, not 2, not 5, but 12 camps.
12. Wow.
12.
I get chills every time you say that. Right? I mean, because it's just amazing that's going on, and there's still people. I mean, because I know a lot of military men and women,
Mm-hmm.
and when they come back from serving our country, obviously they're young now.
Mm-hmm.
They come back and they don't want to talk about what they saw, what happened. And, what ends up happening, and we're coming up on the anniversary of September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And, we tend to forget about these things as the time goes by.
Yeah.
And with the Holocaust, we can't forget, because if we don't learn from things, which is just my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm right, is that
okay.
if you don't study these things, if you try and change history,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes very simple to forget it, to change it, to modify it, and to hear something firsthand. Hopefully it'll be recorded,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Absolutely.
when people like this speak, you have to listen. If you have half a brain, I think I've got a little bit more than a half still. Maybe not.
Well,
Some people don't think so.
And what's unique about him is that for the Holocaust survivors that I've met, and I've met now several, and even have had family members that were Holocaust survivors that have since passed, they're not bitter.
Isn't that amazing? We did have one here at our office a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the gentleman, you probably know him a lot better than I do.
I see him every Friday.
Okay, so
he's 100 also.
Yeah,
First
and
dentist in North Orange County.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
and
Dr.
it just baffled me
Mm-hmm.
how positive and upbeat he was. Also baffled me at his age that he stood for a couple of hours and wanted to go longer.
Mm-hmm.
No podium, no bar stool or no
Mm-hmm.
stool, no chair, nothing, and just poured information out.
Mm-hmm.
And having that opportunity to sit and we got to sit. He was standing, and listening. Yeah. There's a limited number of seats available, so if you want, we'll put in our show notes. We'll put a link to where you can register because it's a longer link. Mm-hmm. But we'll put in the show notes where you can register, or you can just call us at 800-306-1990. Send a message, Ron at RJ at RonSiegelRadio.com, RJ at RonSiegelRadio.com. Any of our socials, just put on there that you want a reservation, and we'll take care of that. Time again?
9 a.m. on Thursday, September 7th.
Thursday, September 7th at 12 camps.
Yeah, he's right, 12 camps. Very unique story.
Give us we're in radio, or
it's okay.
Give us a little tease in bigger. You got to give a little. I mean, it's radio.
Yeah,
a little tease. Putting Big Irv on the spot. Right.
Well, his story is such where he's survived. When he got off the train, when he was being moved from camp to camp, he got off a train. It was like around midnight, and it was my understanding, I think it was Dr. Mangala who was going down the line and saying, you go to the right, you go to the left. And they told him to go to the left. And in that line, or that group of people, my understanding was people were sick, elderly, and he was in his probably early 20s at that time. And so when Dr. Mangala walked by him, he jumped to the other line. And the line that he would have been in went to the incinerators.
Wow. It's just
if you want to hear more, show up 9 a.m.
Great
on
tease,
Thursday.
Big Irv. Great tease. We're gonna have to have you do more radio with me. That's a great tease, right? It's I guess tease is not the right word there, but a great short portion.
There you go.
Just a piece. So 9 to 10:30, Realty Pro 100 offices. Reservations required. So, but it's not just limited to agents or
anybody can come.
Anybody can come.
We're going to limit it to, I think, about 100 people. So time is of the essence. Sign up.
Better get here early.
That's it.
Because 100 people is going to be a tight room.
Mm-hmm.
But something, it's educational. It's educational.
Yeah. This is this could be once in a lifetime for some of you.
You know something? I said that a few years ago when Dr. Eisenbach was here. I said, I'll probably never get an opportunity again.
Mhm.
And this came up, and we're actually going to do a pre-recorded broadcast that day,
Beautiful.
just because I don't want to miss the opportunity.
Mhm.
Again, as I mentioned, you don't get opportunities don't always come along, and just bring it to our real estate conversation.
Mhm.
Opportunities come along. The question becomes, are you going to take advantage of the opportunity?
That's right.
Right? This opportunity is available. And, good Lord willing, Mr. Alexander will be around for a long time.
Well, and the thing is, you don't want to say I should have, or, oh man, why didn't I do this? Don't have any regrets. Make it a point, and make it in your schedule, an hour and a half from 9 to 10:30, September 7th.
Yeah. And it's
only 2 days away.
And I can tell you that it was when I listened to Dr. Eisenbach, and I don't know this story other than what you've shared.
Sure.
I found it very, very inspirational.
Yeah.
Right. Because you look at an individual who has every reason in the world to be bitter. And in our society today, where there's a lot of division and bitterness and people arguing over stupid and petty stuff, you get individuals like this that have that, in my opinion, they have that right.
Well, and they have the attitude of gratitude, and they wake up with that each and every day. And then the other thing is they truly have no fear. No fear at all.
What could they ever see worse?
That's right. And that's why typically, for the most part, most Holocaust survivors are very successful in the event they get into any kind of business because of that. They have that intestinal fortitude that they don't look at anything other than, all right, how do I make this work? And well, no one's putting me in a hole or pointing something at me. So
what kind of and I don't know if you even know this, but
sure.
What was Mr. Alexander's vocation?
He had a store in Los Angeles called LA Uniform Exchange.
Okay.
And he was down the street from a little motion picture studio called Paramount Studios.
Oh, just a little studio.
Yeah. So he supplied the uniforms and such for the motion picture industry.
I would imagine that's a pretty successful business.
Yeah.
So it's just like what you just said, is that come back, start something, no fear. When you survive that, there's nothing, how much worse can it ever get?
Correct. That's it.
It's going to be fascinating. I sure hope you don't miss this opportunity, because again, you don't get the opportunities like this don't come around very often. If you want to get more information, give us a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Again, it's if you're listening to us, not listening to us live, it's going to be September 7th, Thursday, 9 to 10:30 a.m. Realty Pro 100 offices in Orange. You're going to need a reservation because their seating is limited. So again, rj@ronsiegelradio.com, rj@ronsiegelradio.com. Put a direct message on any of our socials. Call us, 800-306-1990. We'll get you on the guest list.